Okay, as I'm here, I think we can get going with the second session. So either you can try and look at that screen or that one. There's a video that we will play from my. Who's there? Okay, kom maar in, ouwens daar buiten. Okay, Angelo. Okay, I think you can start it. Jumlah van internet afsturen. Yeah, post time. Google. Microsoft Edge daarvoor. Oké, kom. Dan kan je op je gewoon.
YouTube channel and start first video today, which is titled Why It's Important for Young People to Start Investing. My name is Michael Sorensberg, I'm from South Africa and I'm joined by my good friend
Daniel Dave and Evan. I'm from Namibia. We finished school last year, decided to go on this progress of bettering ourselves daily, and yeah, we decided we want to share our knowledge.
Today's second video. My name is Michael Sorensberg, I'm joined by my good friend Evan, and today we'll be talking about 3 ways that young people living in South Africa can start investing. So today's video is why you should be betting yesterday.
Coming back to our friendship as like it's something beneficial because now we've been basically coming along on this self-development journey together, and we can motivate each other and help each other. So yeah, it's good to be fresh and ready for the day. Yeah, so it's good to be back and we're in the same location for the first time. So yeah, it's really excited for this video. So
Yeah, to go out there and be able to do these kind of things in public, you know, in the eye of the public, where other people can see you, but other people watching. That's been really nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
behind the scenes, what a journey. What a ride. Yeah.
You know, there's times we on Zoom calls, that's better. We have a team episode for you guys, and today we're going to do something that we've never done on this channel before, we've never done on this podcast, but we're having 2 guests on. So we want to go first. So I'm
Yeah, what's up? Cabana, which is a locally made dish here. Yeah, which, yeah, made of beef. Beef that's like with the special vegetable sauce, which is called, I think that's where it is the name.
and both BTY South African, a very well-known public speaker, entrepreneur, and someone that we can learn a lot from. So we're really diving into what we can learn from him and what sort of information we can take. Greetings, young men. I'm so excited to be a part of this event, along with every single one of you that is here today. Even if for myself that means attending and speaking virtually events, I know that my co-host and partner at Brendan yesterday, Daniel, has been taking very good care of you guys. along with all the amazing guest speakers that have agreed to participate and collaborate with us in bringing this Young Men's Conference to you today. Don't get me wrong, I would have sold my left kidney to be there with you guys today, but unfortunately, work situations did not allow. However, the very good news is that this is the first, but not the last, event that we will be hosting, and so you'll be seeing me very soon up there in Rehoboth. And I look forward to meeting each and every single one of you face to face when that time comes. But in the build up to this event, Daniel and I wanted to provide young men with something that will cover all the bases of self-improvement and what it takes to be a man in 2024. And the topic that we chose to focus on for our messages for today is that of mindset. And so in preparation for that, I asked myself the question, what is the most important lesson that I've learned over the last 3 or 4 years, going from being a boy into a man and leaving high school, going through university. And myself, there was quite an easy answer that came along the way. And this is something that I would say is probably the fastest way to drastically change your life for the better. And in fact, it's actually a mindset that you're going to need to be successful in almost any avenue of life that you are looking to undertake. Whether that be your career, whether that be relationships, perhaps it's starting your own business, or maybe even just finishing up school or university that you are still busy with. You're going to need to be someone who is able to turn thoughts into action. Now, this is something that a lot of young men struggle with. And there's this concept of procrastination before, even up until today. Procrastination can look a little something like this. Maybe it's late at night and you're lying in bed. As it gets towards winter now, it's getting a bit cold, and you can find it a lot easier to just be lying under the sheets. Maybe we've got our phone in our hands and we're scrolling through social media, looking at people's stories and finding out the latest news, maybe seeing the latest football match that's occurred. But a thought will pop into your mind, something that you know that you need to do. But instead, you'll put it off for another time. You'll say that now is just not the right time to get that done, but I'll get to it. And this is the kind of thing that, done a million times over, will start to prevent you from becoming the kind of man that you actually want to be. Now, what I want to say is that Better Than Yesterday started out as just a thought that Daniel and I had. What actually happened is that one day Daniel and I were on a video call, as we always do, considering the fact that I'm still based here in South Africa and Daniel's up there in Namibia. And we were having one of our weekly video calls, just catching up as mates. And we had this idea of all these new things that we were learning about self-improvement and investment through research, books, and other things that we've been looking through. And we wanted to share these ideas with the other young men around us and young people around us on how to get started with investing and get started with working on yourself. And we took the time to then write it down on a page, wrote down a few ideas of maybe things that we could talk about on this new YouTube channel, which is initially just our idea for it. And from there, we took that thought and started to put it into action. Now, if you are able to do this, you're going to be someone who can become very successful. A lot of young men often make the excuse that they have these amazing ideas, but they just don't have maybe the capital or the means to really execute on an idea. But what I want to say is that you don't need to have X amount of money or X amount of resources or even X amount of knowledge to get started with what it is that you know you want to get started on. You learn in the actual doing of that task. So for example, when we started the YouTube channel, we knew nothing about what it took to get a podcast up on many different platforms, how to promote videos online, and even how to speak in front of a camera for anything longer than 30 seconds without starting to sound a bit awkward. But what we found out is that you actually start to learn in the doing. If we had disqualified ourselves in that process and been like, I'm just not quite ready, I've got this great idea, but I think I'll do it in a couple of years when maybe I'm a bit more qualified and I've learned a few more things. If you sometimes make that excuse, the sad fact is that tomorrow is not promised. And that's also something I want to leave you with, is that you need to take action today, because tomorrow is just not promised. There's this quote from a Greek philosopher, Marcus Aurelius, and he says that you could be great today, but instead you choose tomorrow. And we should be young men that choose today instead of tomorrow to execute on these thoughts that come into our mind, to get done with maybe it's even the small, menial tasks that you have in your day. Maybe you remember that you had to make a phone call to that one person for your work, or whatever it is, but the thought will come into your mind. And as soon as that thought comes into your mind, drop what you're doing and take the first smallest step towards achieving that. If you do it right, then that is great. But even if you just take the first smallest step towards achieving that goal, much further ahead, and it will just things and has these great ideas, but instead you'll be someone who other people will be speaking about because of all these amazing things that you have done. Now, there are many examples of very, very successful companies and people. To mention a few, you could look at a company like Apple or Google, who both famously started from the internet. I'll give you guys a practical example like that in the process of starting up this community that you guys are a part of, and we are so grateful that you guys have chosen to also allow us to do this. But BTY started as merely a video call between Daniel and I, and we wrote down all of our ideas, and that was the idea. What happened from there is that we started to post our first YouTube video, which, if you go back and watch, was a bit slower paced, and perhaps we didn't have the same speaking skills that we might have today, but it was a start. From there, we started to learn how to put our videos onto Spotify just by doing research, and then we went to Apple Podcast and distributing it to many different podcasting platforms. And we're at the point now where Better Than Yesterday has global reach on various different platforms, and of course we're now hosting our first event, and so proud to be here and doing this with you guys. But how this all happened is because we started to put thoughts and ideas into action. Instead of just thinking about them, we actually put them into movement and started moving forward on these ideas. And a great example of that is actually even for this event that you are attending right now. All it started off was an idea that Daniel had towards achieving that idea, and we wrote up an invite to all the guests that you see here today for this event. And the next small step after that was making a phone call to the venue that we're in today to ask if it was available for us to do something like this. And these are just tiny steps that are nowhere near actually achieving the goal of hosting an event like this, but it is these tiny steps towards achieving and completing that initial idea that came to your mind that turned it into something tangible you can look back on in just a few years' time with pride for achieving what it is that you initially set out to do. Now, I genuinely believe that there are some amazing ideas in this room today. Who knows, maybe the next creator of a company today at this men's conference. And here's something like that. You might immediately start to disqualify yourself. You might say, well, that can never be me because I'm from this small town here in Namibia. Maybe you're from South Africa, and oftentimes being from Africa in general, we tend to disqualify ourselves from reaching that kind of level and seeing that success in our lives because we just don't believe that it's attainable for ourselves. But what I want to leave you with today Oftentimes, the only difference from those who reach that kind of level and those who don't is the fact that they're able to turn their thought into action. I hope that you have enjoyed the event so far, and there's many great things to come. But thank you so much for taking the time to listen to me. Much love.
Hello everyone, here in the Success Strategist here. It's such an honor to share with you guys today. I mean, when Michael first approached me about sharing a message, a lot of came to mind. At this point in time in my life, I've experienced profound experience and learned a lot from it. So that's what I'm going to share on. So first of all, I'm training for a marathon and I'm running during my lunch break. I've had to learn a lot of discipline in order to get the goals that I wanted to achieve. I've had to create time instead of making excuses. But not only that, I realized the power of God in my life. You know, when I started this journey of training for this marathon, there were a lot of doubts. There was a lot of fear, considering the fact that I just planned a wedding, got married, and I hadn't been running. And now, I'm signing up for 56K. It was a lot to process. And you know, just putting my foot into the deep end and having faith in that became so faithful, because God is faithful. Throughout this entire process of having to train, having to work hard, having to make sacrifices in order to achieve my dreams, I've been able to conquer not only my fears and doubts, but also elevate to the next level that God wants me to be in. I know it's about His love and His grace. And a lot about how no matter where you are in life, sorry, there's another one. No matter where you are in life, you might feel like you failed, you might feel like things aren't going where you wanted to, but just remember that there is God right behind you saying, I will catch you if you choke. But I'm going to push you forward. And in everything you do, I'm going to do the thing that's going to benefit you the most in your life. That includes setbacks in order to get a better opportunity. That includes putting in the work in order to achieve a result that God had promised for you. He is so faithful. And if you put your foot into the deep end, you'll be amazed to see what you can achieve with just a little mustard seed of faith. And if there are people out there tonight that haven't experienced Jesus before, haven't been able to experience that sort of love and that protection and that favor that you need to chat to Michael and the team. They will guide you as to what you need to do. But I can say, from my experience, about for myself, it was the best decision I ever made. You guys, as young men, have been able to put yourself into personal development and reach new heights personally. So why don't you do this spiritually and see what you can achieve when you decide to put your foot into the deep end and conquer and achieve and be empowered, not because you've been given this physical strength of a superhero, but because you know there's openings, there's barriers being forced down. There are obstacles being moved out of the way for you. And there is favor on your life so that when you see those obstacles, you know that they're already taken care of and you don't have to worry about it. So, as I ran my second last training round for this big milestone for me, I want to give you guys encouragement that there is God calling for you He loves you so much. And He is ready to take you to the next level in your life. So take it and put your foot into the deep end.
As ek jou geniet, hy is van hy is eindelijk in Kaapstad en hy een van die dames wie ons ook mee 'n podcast gedoen het. So ja, daar is ook 'n bietjie meer encouragement vir julle. En ons sal aanskuif na Jana van Wyk. Hy gaan vir ons bietjie met ons praat oor finansies, ook 'n baie belangrike ding in die lewe. Ons moet geld sien nie as iets wat ons jag en prysie, maar iets wat ons kan gebruik as a tool. So a tool that we can use going forward and just to carry out our purpose. So with that, I'd like to invite Gianno van Wyk to the front. He'll give a better introduction, but he's a very, very well-versed guy in finances and even in forex trading. All right, thanks.
Okay. Hallo. Hallo.
Chano. Kom net so staan. Sien nie.
Alles goed. Alles bly man. Alles bly. Jy is so saam. Alles oral. Okay. Dan ek het al omtrent seker 5, 6 seminars gedoen in die lewe. Sien 'n paar kliënte van ons hierso. Baie van julle ken seker van my as Gianno van Wyk, forex trade. Ek ken so my naam is Gianno van Wyk. 'n bietjie agtergrond. Gebore in Grootfontein. By die toe getrek. Meeste van die lewe daar gelewe. Maar ons laat ken ons spinne. Alles is op, jy moet as jy nie geld het vir die dag, jy nie sien dit. Soorte. Die word jy daar op die saal ja gedoen word, ons kan maak so. Nou guys, kom van 'n seminar af, en beroep. Dan is dit ook net iets mense wat sien. Maar nog elke keer is jy bietjie nervous. Maar dit sal dan ook gesond wees. En die mense altyd bietjie nervous is, né? So verkies julle Engels of Afrikaans? Afrikaans. Engels, Afrikaans is ook goed man, oké. So jy het nog 'n bietjie agtergrond van wie ek is en waarvan ek kom en wat ek doen, right? Nou ek is 'n trader. Ek is nie forex trading van daai dat ek foreign exchange trade, right? Doen nie dit. Ek is 'n global financial market trader. So ek volg global market patterns, more on the industrial side of things, and then koop of verkoop het based of gaan het op of gaan het af, right? Baie van julle ken seker, of het al gehoor van forex trading, maar julle het miskien al probeer hier en daar en so, ne? Okay, en dit is so moeilik werk, ne? So wat ek vir julle nou wil vra is, look to your party, look to the person sitting next to you, tell him, I am who I say I am, not who you say I am. Then you look to God, and then you tell God, I am who you say I am, not who I say I am. Hy is al biblical wat ek het vandag. Van jou kan voor finansies. Dit is eintlik wat jy wil weet. Hoe kan ons geld maak in hierdie lewe? Kom ek sê, ek was graad 10. Kom maar iets op my pad. Ja, 'n babietjie. Yes. Net sit daar en dink, Jy moet sê dat hierdie mens moet ek sorg. Kan nie net aan my dink nie. Wat het ek gedoen? Ek vaar op skool, weet jy, mag jy op skool gekom, maar ek moes. Verstaan. Later misschien ook oor koeksisters toe. Later hoe leer ek die training, forex ding, verkoop ek kursusse, net om die soort support. Right? 7 maanden later kom ek nie te sien. Toen kan je net weglopen aan die hele lewe af en net opgeld. Nee, misschien dat ik ook niet man. This is a blessing in disguise, you know. En die geld het gekom. Geld komt nog steeds. Maar gaan geld blijven bij hand van jou af. Hoe hanteer je je over je finansies? Met een reel wat ik gelezen heb, een reel wat bij mensen gebruikt. And it's called the 50-30-20 rule. No? Say with me, wie van jullie iets zo ver? Het is niet zo aan als je ver. Working for a man. Hoeveel tekst hebben we dat? Oké. Wie zo, het zijn heel bezig. Er zijn heel bezig geweest. Is de naam bezig, daar hebben we het altijd doen. Wie is zo helemaal niet bezig? Studeer maar. Die wat moet het doen niet. Die jongeren. En dat is gewoon daarmee niet, honestly. Tot op 13 denk ik weet wat om te doen in die leven. Die training dat ik doe, maar op die wereld gekomen met dit maar. Alles komt veranderen. Toen het komt, dit zal komen. Niet onnodige druk op jezelf plaatsen. Nou, zo. Kom maar zelf hier experiment. Je bij je omtrent moet je 10 is na aftrekkens, na teksten. Maar je doet nog expenses. Dus je het goed dat wat je moet doen. Zo, 50%. Hij is maar van 50% van je bedrag gaan ze wat doen? Gaan verwachten. Niet voor die bieren, niet voor die bier. Ja, eigenlijk is sparen maar ja. So 50% of your income goes to your needs. What is needs? It's also papier dat maar schrijven. Yes, basic needs. Noem je need. Food. Ja, wat? Alles, ja. En je niet dat je je ook kan bieden. Maar zo dit niet. Nee, dan moet je zien meer is wat je moet gebruiken. 50% goes to your needs. What is your needs? Je moet de reis zetten, je zegt die kracht. Daar waar je blijft. So you have your house. No? And then you have your food. No? En dan is je medical. Of ons noemen het emergency fund. Iets kan gebeuren met jou, wat je stapt. En dan moet je no scenario's. En als je dat ziet, moet je dan over een government hospitaal geweest. Dat zie je lekker niet. Dat zie je lekker niet. So 5 days run, right? 5 days run. Ga naar your place, your needs. Nou, hij is een man. Hij is verschrikkelijk man. Waar is je plek voor minder dan 5 days naar de eerste? Draai maar. Ik kreeg hem. Anders als je plek is in de achterkamertje van een achterkamertje van een achterkamertje. Nonsense. 50% goes to your needs. En dan krijg je 30%. 30% goes to savings. Yes. 30% goes to your savings. Right? 30% goes to your savings. Savings, investments, and debt. Als je iets kan doen, ja hoor. Wat kan je voor Pieter van die school 3 jaar? Dat is schuld. Maar ik wil chips op laatst aan de school. Laatst week op school. Nou, schuld is schuld. Je moet hem terugbetalen. Zeg maar je van een man dat die schuld terugbetalen. Kijk maar je kan zo op zo. Zeg man van een woord. Right? So, savings, investments, and debt. Je kan niet savings hebben als je schuld hebt. Ik persoonlijk weet het niet. Ik kan niet savings hebben als ik schuld heb. Ik betaal alles af wat ik schuld, en daarvan heb ik een saving. Verstaan je? Dat is hoe ik met jullie wil. Ik wil willen zeggen, het is je financial advisor. Je wil bijna levens creëren, en met 24 jaar. Bijna levens. Klomp geld, niks geld, klomp geld, niks geld, klomp geld, niks geld. En ik zeg je dat je klomp geld hebt. Trust me. Bijna weer klomp geld. 20%. Now can you how can you know your wants? Now you can go to Meiji. Now you can commit. Yes, your Netflix subscription. Yes, that's what you do. Met 20% van je salaris. Dat is twee is naar. Soms kun je gewoon twee is naar de Amerika. Nee, makkelijk. Nee, waar. So ja, guys, die leerling is gemaakt om tegen jou te werken. Die systeem zelf is gemaakt om tegen jou te werken. Om jou iemand te maken wat constantly schuld betaalt, wat constantly hierdie moet betaal, daar moet betaal. En ons as mans, ons moet hy ego. Verstaan, jy wil die huis dra, jy wil die groot van ons. Nou, wat baie van ons doen is you need investments and you wants. You wants is empty. Hey Peter, kom ons gaan nie na met man. Peter nie ala wag ons. Sê dis oor wat jy. Nee, man, jy ander net om jou sê jy moet begin relax, jy moet beter budget, die goed in orde is. Once, as we once home, and compromises, zoals die needs, beetje van die regelgeld, zoals beetje van die emergency fund. Hoe komen we om andere mensen te impressen? Net twee jaar weer. Dus doen het. Ik zeg niet, ik doe het perfect niet. Ik ga het doen. Trust me, ik moet ook soms. Maar ik draai me elke dag. Elke dag draai ik om beter te wezen dan wat ik gisteren was. Right? So kom ons vat nie van ons belangrijke dingen. Dit is ook die hoor, mense kan nie hier betaal of hulle is agterstallig met hier. Hulle kan nie hospitale kostes betaal. Hulle kan nie hulle prioritiseer nie wat belangrik is. Daar is die main problem. Ons is nie financially disciplined. En vir daai bly met ons groot mense. En ek kom met 'n ietsie waar ek nie geleer is hoe om die finansies te hanteer. Dit is 'n sê spaar. Spaar staan in nog lang maar dit ken waar spaar. Wat is spaar? Verstaan? Ons is hier sê dis so sakgeld. Hierdie sakgeld deel hom so, deel hom hoe. Sit hierdie een kant niks. Maar kyk hoe maak jy dit daarop? So, moet jy dit task, as jy hier kom, né? Sinds die twee kant, die teken 'n kruis, né? Teken 'n kruis. En jou linkerkant is jou inkomste, income. Alles van 'n besigheid af is as jy inkomste maak, word moet die branche probeer. Dit is jou inkomste. En dan aan die regterkant sit jy jou expenses. Né? Dan sê jy op die van die inkomste hoeveel 10.000, né? Kom ons lees voor die expenses. Ons het maar hier wil boom. Dan is het Netflix. Dan wat nog Pieter weet dat en dan is al my naam van ek is so joints. Wat is daar nog? Wat is nog expenses? Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, yes. Jy moet op Instagram, dus die mense moet sien het lewe nog. Dates. Hij was een cherry. Dates. Dat is waar. Een Petronella wil geld in houden die soort. Anders kom Jacobus heeft geld. Hoe is wat daar worden? Zo maar ik daar een beetje. Dat is de weer eens komen terug naar ego. Zo kom ik gezegd. Look up and say, I am who you say I am. Not what. Say, what? Ik is die X-Sakers, niet J-Sakers. Verstaan je? Exactly. Baie keer is ons baie vinnig intimidated, ons word baie vinnig intimideer. Ons dink, nee, vanavond ons kan iets mis op meesie kom. Petroniala na hele vriende is daar. Wie daar zijn met Petroniala? Dan gaan ons easily intimidated. Alles is niks. Is dat een plan, man. Mami, dat voel je weer eten op. Meesie. Dit gaat zo. Dit gaat zo, hè. Zo. 95% van julle wat sou sit, gaan nie weet hoe julle gaan baie motiveerd voel. Gaan baie motiveerd voel. Nou, ons het ons net gekom vir 'n bietjie inspirasie. Nou, en dan jy so dat dit is dan op en jy so is hoe jy het aan gesê, maar jy gaan so maak. Peter. Ek kon nie dat vra dit aan. Nee, dat is op een nieuwe pad. Dat is op een nieuwe pad. Ik kan niet eigenlijk goed doen, je moet sparen. Ga je lezen als noem het FOMO. The fear of missing out. Mensen allemaal dat. Hoe zeg je? Je ziet het, waarvan is het niet van ons geleerd gewoon zitten op wat je aan van vandaag voor zien. Maar mijn heel op je eigen strategie. Ik zie het voor het guys. Dat zie je. Ons gaan baie motivated voel, maar motivation is soos petrol. Een of ander ding moet jy weer ingooi. Soms staan in elkaar, dan moet jy maar loop, verstaan. Maar ek is hier om te praat oor persistence and determination. The will to get where you want to be, no matter what the cost is. Wie is op gym of het al gejump? There's, you know, man, the only difference between you and the guy that eats where he wants to be physically, physically, is that 5%. Hij maakt het heel gedrukt. Hij maakt het opgestaan en het moe gevoel. En gezegd, I want to be where I want to be and I'll get there no matter what cost. Diezelfde, je financiën is het niet makkelijk. Het is moeilijk, verschrikkelijk moeilijk. Maar je moet actually discipline moet je develop. En meer kan zeggen, voor Pieter en Petroniala en FOMO. Je moet kan meer zeggen. Verstaan? 1 bier, ons weet 1 bier raakt 2. 2 raakt 3. En dan raakt je 3 bier. Yes. Want ons kan nie onze emoties controleren. Het is 100% in beheer van onze geld. Nou, ons is, geld niet zoals niet dat ik kan ons waarderen wanneer ik wil. En hoe ik wil. Maar is het emotionally prepared voor die intimidation, voor die lust, voor die, hoe zeg je dat, voor die opportunity. Er gaan klomp opportunities raken. Niet alles aan veel wees. Niet alles aan veel wees. So die enigste verschil tussen jy en die mense wat actually sy plan gaan volg, sy budgetplan gaan volg, is 5%. Hy 5%. Determination. En wat dit doen met all costs. Wie wil financially free wees? Sê jou hand op. Wie is ook nou 100 is? No. Iemand no. Okay. Nog een budget, gaan doen savings voor 6 maanden. Hou op druk, hou op boek, je moet niet meer doen tjoef. Allemaal tjoef, juice flavor, heel, maar is uit 10 rand, uit 10 rand. Net refills, maar ik weet niet wat het is, maar refills, weet. Skakel net af, ik zeg niet los niet, ik zeg skakel net een beetje af. En kijk wat ze financiële freedom gaan ze krijgen. Als je liever 1 bier drinkt als 5, is moeilijk om net iets te los. Doe dat heel niet. Je moet het net los. Dus het is zo eenvoudig. Waarschijnlijk als mensen wat het doen hebben, maar ze voor jou een beetje moeilijker is. Schakel net af. En kijk wat wat se finansiële verskil maak in die wêreld. The difference between you and the 1% is persistence and determination. En ons is so maklik om te sê, man, dat man het geld geërf en dan man het 'n raak geslaan. En dan man het sê altyd so, dan man het opgestaan om jy nog te slaap. Dan man het gedruk, dan man het laat ander gebeur. Dus ja, hoe sê jy daar hoe is dit nou? Want dit is gemakkelijk in die job, en dit is rustig. Verstaan? Ek is 'n trader en ek is 'n mentor. En ek praat nie net oor trading. Die mense wat op my pad gekom het, wat saam met my hierdie pad staan, hulle almal weet ek is 100% psychology. 100% psychology. Want dit is al waar alles lê. If you can't fight the battle in here, how will you fight the battle outside? Verstaan? Hoe ga je dit doen? Ja, guys. Het is diep. Het is baie diep. As jy nie 'n verskil maak nie, dan gaan jy 'n mysterious mens vorm van onverantwoordelik om jou lewe te bereik. Om jou finansies te bereik. Jy moet maar opstaan. Moet het self doen. Moet ernstig vat. Baie van die keer dit is die army lewe te trek. En ek sê julle nog, 50, 30, 20. Your needs, your investments, and your wants. Skakel af op jou wants. Want hy sê needs, dis die dinge wat jy nodig het om te lewe. Dis dinge wat jy wil hê. Ek het hierdie t-shirt gekoop omdat ek hom wil hê, van ek was dom. Die t-shirt is al 3 jaar oud. Ek koop nie my kleren nie, nee. En jy het kleren. Het perfect sit op my lichaam. Maar ek het gesien. We call it keeping up with the Joneses. Ek sien my buurman koop Amarok-visies. Yes. Ek weet nog 20 sit Amarok-visies. Ons kyk in, as hy een gat was, iets die krap was, ook een upgrade. So, keeping up with the Joneses. Dat hulle dit noem. En ek sê my braai het 'n polo gekry, sê maar. Dit ek soek op 'n polo. En die man dra net Lacoste, en ek wil ook Lacoste dra. Dit gaan so, keeping up with the Joneses. Hierdie iPhone, allemaal so kom. Hy het my lekker goed. Ek sê, ek sê, like was die iPhone. En ek wil net foto's neem, ek weet ek sê vir jou aan. Ek sê vir jou. Maar met zoveel foto's neem, en WhatsApp die ons die foto's maak. So So guys, ek het vandag spesiaal met gekom, ek het heel veel gedoen. Ek is sowieso financial advisor. Waarom praat ek? We doen 'n bietjie selfrefleksie met dit, maar wat doen ek om die geld wat ek maak te hou? Sê van, maar, I've always been applying this 50-30-20. Dit is wat my studeer natuurlijk. Weet onmiddellik, maar ek werk, ek wil besigheid en ek doen en ek studeer. Soms niet. So, het is moeilijk in zo'n wereld om jezelf te navigate en te limit. En als je een keer wat zo in limit gaan, voelen die slecht, zaterdagochtend of zondagochtend, dan ga ik geen keer doen, weet ik, is het slecht worden. Maar als ik nog daarna weet wat ik nog wil zien, nee, die kun je gedaan. 50%. Die zo mami is misschien safe. Mami is safe. Ja. Sê jy hoe moet die goede in orde. 30% savings. Ek het 'n paar investments, ek het 'n paar assets, ek het 'n paar goed that I have going for me. En daai is nog weer waar ek kom. Hoe hanteer ek dit? Verstaan? Hoe hanteer ek dit? Ek kan nie my ma sal nie. Hoe is dat nie? En once, het is so ver gegaan dat ek 5% van my inkomste het ek my wants gemaak. Die rest is excess cash. As ek nou iets nodig heb, nou, ek go for it. As ek nou emergently iewers gaan, go for it. Verstaan? So, dit is nou 'n setup sien. Dis waar. Ze nooit zit op zien van jou. Dat is niet extra veel. Maar ik ga het daar maken voor ieder die als je moet gaan. Financial advisors love my book. Dus we komen eerst op financial advisors. Niet allemaal, maar wij gaan de vier geld en gebruiken hulle geld responsibly. Daar gaan al die Petronalas wees, daar gaan al die Pieters wees. Jou vrienden gaan missies kry. Hulle gaan missies kry dat as jy ook broer, as jy niks doen. Hang nou net met die shit. Ken. Wie julle braas shit. Wie julle braas shit. Ek het onlangs sê iemand kom trek eens af. Trek hom op eens af. Word rustig. Hy onrustige lewe, jy wil hier wees, jy wil daar wees, jy wil alles maak met allemaal. Kap sit 'n small ding na. Sy wat sit in die na, die ander na is weer plaster op aan toe. Net beter. Oh nee. Oh ek dink dit is ook reg. So as jy hier vanaf gaan, wil ek julle een ding vra. Moenie 95% wees. Don't be part of the majority. Choose your own route. Be the minority. 5%. Be the 5% of people that actually do something. Jy kan motivated wees, jy kan nie doen, jy gaan niks doen. Jy gaan nooit die plan neerskryf, jy gaan nooit in ag neem nie. Maar 5%, hy mense werk, hy mense staan op iets. Hulle doen iets. Nie sit en wag vir die staan op en die doen iets. Sê hulle het 5 stuk, dat is niks voor 5 stuk verkoop nie. Maar my geld, die laat wil nie, geen figuren van de shop. Is dit? Dit moet geld gemaakt. Maar dit maak ik misschien nog veel meer aan. Dat is veel meer goed gaat. Al wat ik zeg, guys. Fuck jullie ernstig. Dat is zo. Ik was donderdag afgelopen. En ik dacht, nee, je was wat? Ik sta in het vuur in de ja, dat is wel. Maar wanneer is nog jong, ik zie het. Dat is waar jong. Hij is het beste tegenwoordig. Perfecte tegenwoordig. En als je oud gaat ruiken, dan ga je gaan wanneer het sorry is. Zo kom ons fight die kans wat ons heeft. Ik zie hier voor mezelf. Jullie zie hier voor mij. Jullie zie hier voor mezelf. Als ik eens moet gaan weg, dan moet je het doen. Je kan fight als je kreeg zo padkost. En die padkost kan je fight dan één blokken. Of kan net zelf van maken. Ik heb over 10 jaar. Ik heb over 15 jaar. Maar ik heb over 6 maanden. Je nog steeds in diezelfde plek is waar je was. Daar je andere maken. Dat is nog iets in en denk dat die moet gaan groter wees. Die seminars gaan groot wees. Hou aan. Niet opgeven. Niet opgeven. Maar dank je guys. Mijn naam is Johan Jan van Beek. Als het hier zijn we het gehoord.
There we had it, the 50, 30, 20 rule. So try it. Even if you say, is this really going to work? Try it. Do the hard work, especially when you don't like it. Don't rely on motivation, because it's not always going to be there. Then also, we want to welcome Reynard Lucas forward, who is going to be speaking on mental and sexual health. Thank you.
Young men, thank you for this opportunity. opportunity, I would just want to the IT to go into my presentation, please. And then it's a very interactive presentation. You would be speaking every time. Yeah? It's a live presentation. To say it as it is, yeah, so guys, I will be talking to you about mental health. My name is Raymond. I am working for an organization or a company that is called Value Investments. And I am currently the managing director and the founder of Value Investments. I'm a training, development, coaching, and mentorship practitioner with the responsibilities of making sure that this company really contributes to the socio-economic development of Namibia, to that of the SADC, and potentially to the international agenda. Now, as you can see on that question there, I have a question that is actually worrisome. You can see I am facing to another side. So I want to ask this question, and then before I come to the questions, the small questions that are on there, how can we do better? How can we do better? Can anyone here tell me, when it comes to mental health, when you hear the word mental health, when you hear the word about sexual health, what comes to your mind? What can we do better as men? We need to protect ourselves and others, right? What can we do better? Anything that comes to your mind?
Go for testing.
Go for testing. It could be HIV testing. It could be prostate testing. It could be sexually transmitted infections testing. Guys, the discussion that I will have with you is something that, or most of the things that we have already went through. Because the moment that you are 10 years old, you are an adolescent. And you start to go through development. And that's exactly what we are going to talk about. Now, the first question that I'm having in black is that, when was the last time that you had sex? And but then you think about consequences of having sex, or else consequences of having sex without a condom. Was there a time that you think about consequences that sex has got for you? Yeah? We might have think about it, or we might have just enjoyed having sex. The other concern that I'm also thinking about is, you need to know, guys, that life is a learned behavior, absolutely in the absence where we are not getting teaching. When we look at teaching and coaching and mentorship, just like BTY and the church is doing it now, if we do not get teaching as men, life will learn us how to behave. It's a learned behavior. The other thing that we need to be cognizant of, guys, that I'm asking myself the question is that, but why? Why are we living in such a messed up society? If we as men are to lead young men, my question is, where are we leading ourselves? Where And absolutely, how are we leading others that are to follow us as men? It's a question, it's a concern that I am having. If our behavior, things that we are doing currently in the society is of such, where are we leading them? The other thing about the gender-based violence, guys, that we need to understand first is it is explained and defined in English. I'm coming to the point where I was asking, why are we living in such a messed up society? And this society where we are living is driven by sexual and gender-based violence. The unfortunate part of the society where we are living in as young men is that gender-based violence is defined in English. It is not defined in our vernacular. It is not defined in Afrikaans. It is not defined in Oshiro. It is not defined in Setswana. It is not defined in Kwekwekowa. Do you see where I'm coming from, guys? It is difficult for us to understand gender-based violence because it is not in our language. We do not understand it. Just yesterday morning, a young boy at the age of 19 committed suicide in Windhoek. He went to the National Museum, there nearby the Parliament, if you know. He went up to the 4th floor. A 19-year-old boy, you need to now talk to me, guys. En in my dom verstand sê ek myself, hierdie seun moes sekere deur een of ander mental of sexual health gegaan het om van die 4de vloer te gaan afspring om sy lewe te vat op 'n ouderdom van 19 jaar. En jy het gehoor wat jy sê. Hy is skaars 23 jaar. Hy het graad 12 wel gedreig, maar hy besit 'n graad in teologie. 19 jaar. Waar kon hy kind se probleem gewees het? En my dom verstand sê ek myself van 'n mens moet 'n antwoord iewers kry. Ek sê myself, hy moes sekerlik mental health uit 'n gebroke huis gekom het waar dinge nie goed gaan nie. Waar die verhouding van die ma en die pa seker gewelddadig is. Waar daar nie geld in die huis is nie, daar is net gemors in die huis. Dit kon seker hierdie jongman het gedwonge om selfmoord te pleeg. Kon die jongman seker verkragt was. Sy kon seker seksueel geabused was. Dit is hoekom dit moeilik is vir ons om te verstaan wat is geslagsgebaseerde geweld. Ek het hom probeer sê in Afrikaans. Lei 'n klokkie. Nee. Hoekom? Die woorde is nog steeds vreemd vir ons. Geslagsgebaseerde geweld. Dit is nog ver van wat ons doen. But then, how can we break the traditional and generational curse when it comes to sexual reproductive health rights and gender-based violence in our society? As a church, we need to do something. As men's organizations, we need to do something. As society, we need to do something when it comes to breaking the traditional and the generational curse that is associated with gender-based violence and sexual reproductive health rights. Now, as we move forward, we need to explain the terms mental. We need to explain the term sexual. We need to explain the term health. So that this whole topic is trying to, dat moet kan insin by ons, dit moet kan sin maak hoekom ons oor so iets moet praat as manne. Now, the mental is described as dat het te doen met ons denkvaardigheid. Do we have the ability to think? It is our mind. Ja? Dit gaan nie oor hoe slim of hoe dom ons is nie. Dit is die vaardigheid wat ons het om te kan dink. Of dit nou swak is, of dit nou goed is, dit is die vaardigheid wat ons moet hê om te kan dink. Tweedens, liewe jong manne, seksueel. Sexual, when you hear the term sexual, there are some of the things that we need to get into terms with. Sexual organs, if you come. Mental, we said that it has to do with our mind. Yeah, our thinking capacity. Sexual, immediately, then you should think about any organ on your body that is able to do sex. Which is what we have, the penis, we have the anus, we have the mouth, we have the fingers. Those are the organs that you do sex with when you are a man. When you are a human being. It is further explained that sexual is it's anything that is related to reproduction. It is also the intimate attraction that we as people develop towards each other. This obviously is also a process. Sexual is a process where people grow, people experience, people have to do with their behavior. It is the activities that are associated with sex. It is the desire of sex. It is the actual abuse that people are going through. The violence and the assault that is of sex. That is sexual. Now, when it comes to health, we are saying that health is not just how healthy or unhealthy you are, but health is the complete state of your physical, mental, and social well-being. And it is not merely the absence or the fact that you are not sick. Die feit dat daar nie 'n siekte in u liggaam is nie, dit is nie wat nou verduidelik dat u gesond is of dat dit te doen het met gesondheid nie. But then also, health is something that we also explain as free from expressing yourself freely, how you feel towards the companion of before you probably go for a drink. Ek sal nie die vraag vra, wie goed allemaal drink nie, maar ons is allemaal, ons kan drink, ons mag dan, want omdat ons al mond kan drink. Ek praat nie van alcohol nie, ek praat van drink. So, u kan vir u self categoriseer waar u sal bepaal. Maar ek wil tydsbring is, gesondheid is waar jy vrylik voel dat jy vir jouself kan uitdruk, dat jy 'n gevoel het hoe om jouself te assosieer in daardie groep waarmee jy is. So, do I talk some sense into you when I'm trying to explain mental, sexual health? Did I do something? Now, if we look at these pictures, go back and go one by one. These are now I'm trying to explain to you that someone is thinking. Yeah? You see, the more calm and the more aggressive, and then it goes. You see, there's that guy that's shouting on the computer. The computer is just an object that he is using. There is money issue there. So this is mind. I'm talking about mental health. Now, if we go into mental health, what is mental health actually? We are explaining mental health that it includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Liewe jongman, soos ek vroeër gesê het, mental health affects how we think, how we feel about something, or else how we act. Toe u vanoggend hier ingestap het, oor die konferensie, kon u seker oor 'n sekere ding gedink moet. Die man, die ander man, en die ander is ook hierso. Julle ken mos mekaar. Is dit nie so nie? Ons ken al ons vriende met sien ken ons ook mekaar. Ek het vir Johannes gesien, ek ken hom. Ek het vir Martin gesien, ek ken hom. So, toe jy die man gesien, die gedink oor die man, jy het 'n gevoel gekry oor, nee man, hy het nodig om by hierdie konferensie te wees. Jy het gevoel, jy moet vir jouself associeer met hierdie man. Dit is die 3 goedjies, think, feel, and then act that I'm trying to explain here. It also, mental health also helps us to determine how we are going to or how we are handling stress, how we relate to others. Obviously, how we make healthy choices. That's mental health. But there are 4 types of mental health. And they are, the first one, it is not in any category, but there is what we call the mood disorders that is associated with depression, the anxiety disorders, personality disorders, and then psychotic disorders. Those are some of the 4 mental health types that we can find. But then, how do we improve mental health? How should we as men improve mental health? It is to try and reduce stress. We need to try, relax, and reduce stresses. Obviously, as men, we need to find ways as to how we learn to be creative. Yeah? We heard just now from the financial presentation that we do not need to be part of the 95, isn't it? We should move towards being part of the
1%.
from the 5%. Because in the 95, things might not be going well there. Because it's a lot of people together that are likely not to achieve, isn't it? But the less the group is, the better it goes. Yeah? So we need to spend time in nature. In the nature, and then we just think, this one is so black, but he thinks it's white. It's not about being black and white, it's about doing what makes you to fit into your perfection. So, you need to spend time, you need to meditate, you need to know yourself. And because when you know yourself, you come in a circle of people, they will start to say things to you, they will start to discriminate against you. Then you are aware of who you are. And by so doing, because of you knowing who you are, when they say things, you are telling them, I know. You're not handsome. I know. You look like you're too fat. I know. So it breaks them down. So connect with others. Very important, young men, also is that look at your physical health. Brandon alerted on that. He was speaking a lot on that. That there is an importance. I like what Brandon said. He said that it is not how masculine you look that makes you go, but it is how healthy you are that keeps you going. The more you look masculine and then your body is like you are muscle, you think that you are attracting women. She's probably not looking for a muscle guy. She's looking for a guy that is aware of himself, that is mentally healthy, that is physically healthy, that would give her attention and love while she is respecting him. Very important, guys. Try to sleep a lot. Sleep enough. We are supposed to sleep how many hours? 8 hours. Let's get that good sleep in. But then what causes mental health? What causes mental health is those things that we are going through during our childhood as abuse, the trauma that we go through, the neglect that we are going through. Yeah? There are some guys that have never been raised by their fathers. That could have a negative impact on their mental health. But once they are aware of that, they might not look into it as a mental health issue. The other important thing also here, guys, is the social isolation or else the loneliness. It is not good. When you find yourself spending most of your time alone, you should know that you are in a problem. You cannot, you need time on yourself, but if you look at your time and then you see that most of the time you are alone, you should be white. Experiencing discrimination and stigma, including racism. Yeah? And in Namibia, one thing that we are extremely good at is racism. Be it at the church, be it at the political level, be it in the community. Something that we are extremely good at is being racist to each other. For a country that was colonized by foreigners, we are colonizing each other. Question is why? I do not have the answer. The other thing that also causes mental health, young men, is the social disadvantage, like poverty or debt. Like the previous year I was asking, how many guys are owing others today? We were striving to put up our hands. But then, if we go into sexual health, this is what we are talking about. We will be talking about our reproductive system. This is sexual health. Is there anyone that does not have that? Can you raise if you don't have what is on the screen? I'm talking to the right guys. Let's get right into it. Now, little young man, sexual health het te doen met hoe ons onsself gesond hou. Hoe ons areas that we, or the organs that we are supposed to have sex with, are healthy. Are we circumcised? Because if we are not circumcised, our body sweats are going down to our penis. It is kept there in the foreskin. If you don't know, you should know it today. Our foreskin hosts and accommodates. When our penis is dirty, we are obviously going to get infected with any other sexually transmitted infections. And sexually transmitted infections are associated with HIV. If our penis and the area around is not healthy, we are not going to make women satisfied. We are not going to have sex. I am totally aware that some of us do not have a license to have sex now. As per Christian education, I am not getting or diving into, but the Constitution is saying that when I am in the adolescent health education, we are told that when we are getting erection, we are actually ready for sex. I am talking now in my authority on behalf of the church and the Christian principle that some of you seated here do not have the license, even though you have the penis to have sex. And that's where we are. I am not diving away from there. So we need to make sure that we are healthy for when we get our woman to have sex. Yeah? All right. So this picture, just tell me, the next one, tell me on this picture, are you seeing any difference besides the six-pack? What is the difference? Excuse me? Looks a bit slimmer.
Yeah, there's a smile.
There's a smile. So, what is on these two pictures is, the first one, you see that the guy's chest is a bit hairy, isn't it? The legs are also hairy. The second one, it's clean. It is shaved. Guys, we need to develop or activate a culture of shaving and keeping it clean for our women to enjoy a clean area. That's the purpose. Shave, guys, get circumcised. That's the first two things that you need to do. Get circumcised and shave and feed. The more you exercise, you will get into that, the more the body is ready for the license you will get when you get married to have sex. Now, when it comes to sexual health and getting done. Sexual health is about well-being, not really about the absence of diseases. Sexual health obviously involves very, very critical things like respect, it involves safety, and of course, freedom from discrimination and violence. What is it that I'm trying to say when I'm talking about respect, safety, and freedom from violence and discrimination? If you are sexually healthy, then it means that you are going to have correct choices for sex. That means you will respect your body and that you will not indulge into sexual activities before you are married. That's first respect. You will keep your body clean and healthy by so your body is safe for your woman so that you can have a safe sex life with your woman. And then in terms of freedom, is that because you respect yourself and then there is safety around your sexuality, you are not going to be discriminated and you are not going to be violated by someone. The other one is that obviously sexual health requires a positive and respectful approach when it comes to sexuality and sexual relationships, as well as the possibility of having pleasurable and safe sexual experiences that obviously are free from coercion, discrimination, and violence. Sexual health, as it is being defined by the World Health Organization, according to the current working definition from the World Health Organization, sexual health is a state of physical, emotional, mental, and social well-being in relation to sexuality. It is not merely, like I will keep on repeating, the absence of any illness in your body, or the dysfunction or infirmity, but sexual health is about how you are physically healthy, emotionally healthy, and of course mentally and then socially. If we dive quickly into what could we do to prevent sexual dysfunction in our bodies as men, what can we do? We need to stop smoking. And if we haven't started yet, we should not start at all. How many of us are not smoking? Do not start at all, because it can contribute to sexual dysfunction. Get regular exercise. Regular exercise does not mean you should build the body. It means keep the body physically fit, so that the way they know the surface with sex, like they move hard and far and grain. We get that and Namibia are all hard and far and grain the way surface. Hy is dood. Wat sê hulle because of death? Hy laat het wees. So, guys, you need to keep young because when you are doing sex, daar is 'n vriend van my wat altyd sê, wanneer as hierdie mense net kan weet, wat alles sit aan mens in hierdie ding seks, dat hulle so vinnig en enige iets kan praat met hoe oor die verhouding. Seker het jy 'n spesifieke verhouding met 'n vroumens, dan sê jy sê dit graag in Namatal, dan sê jy in Namatal word gesê, in hierdie verhouding van my, die mense meen te veel in, maar hulle weet nie wat alles sit in hierdie verhouding. So, dit is die type ding, jy oefen dat jy hierdie vroumens kan gelukkig hou, jy maak al wat jy kan om hierdie verhouding te laat werk, maar die mense van beide kant wil net sê wat vir hulle van toepassing is, maar hulle weet nie hoe dit vir die seer maak nie. Aerobic exercises is baie belangrik. Ek wil nie verbeter nie, wil ek nie vir jou huiswerk gee nie. Gaan kyk wat is aerobic exercises. Dis nie waar jy hardloop nie, maar gaan kyk. Dis baie belangrijk. We need to maintain a healthy weight. Gaan Google ook by die healthy weight, né? Daar is iets wat ons sê body mass index. So, die tafel as jy uitgegooi word, hy wys as jy hoe lang is en as jy hoe oud is, moet jy wat het gewig het. It's a requirement. Body mass index. Body mass index. So, dit gee vir ons waar jy moet ontvang. Ons moet kan eet wat reg is. We need to eat a balanced diet. Die Engelse woorde van balanced diet is waar ons moet dink. Ons wat net meer eet dan dink ons is nie balans. Want dan dink ons moet nou Greek salad eet dan eers is dit apparently balanced diet. But do you know that Greek salad is poisonous than pap? Do you know? Let me tell you. Anything that is not organic is poisonous for your body. Let's take Greek salad. What is it made from? Tomatoes? Is it organic? Not at all times. Cucumber? Hy word geplant, maar meeste van die goed wat ons insit, soos kas ook, dit is nie organic nie. Ons het baie min van organic products. Dit word organic, kom ek verreken, dit word organic wanneer jy dit geplant het en sonder dat jy in hom gebeter het om te groei, dan jy is organic. Maar as jy hom plant en jy beter in hom, jy maak dat jy moet gauw groei, dan is hy nie organic nie. So dit is die goed, dus hoekom ons swart mense nou kanker het. Cancer was not part of us. Why? Because we were eating organic food. But today, it is first on the list, because we thought eating pap is not balanced diet. Pap is extremely organic. What is it made of? Maize. And then you mix it with what? Water and salt. And then what do? You eat it. There is no poison in your body. Liewe Johan, daar is een ding wat ons moet weet. Limit alcohol intake. If you have not started yet, moet ook nie vat nie. Hey, moet ook nie vat nie. Vra by my, ek was daar. En ek is dankbaar vir die Here wat verlossing gebring het, so vroeg soos wat dit was. Dat ek vir hom gratis vrywillig moes verlos het. Hy is nie weg nie. Jy het net hy lekker vir jou vir daardie tyd. Jy gaan lê, dan slaap jy onrustig, Jy staan op, dan is jy siek. Jy het hele meer as R500 in daardie dranksessie ingegooi, vir wat moet jy vir jou so siek maak? Don't use illegal drugs or any drugs, because any drug in the world is illegal as long as it's not medicine that is being prescribed by a doctor. But die pille wat ons drink is ook drugs. En ek het nou al nie ding hier in die word gekry en gesien dat die mense coke drink met grandpa. Dan sien ek dis 'n dom man wat dit doen en ek grin my dood en sê, liewe Here, wil jy nie intree dat hierdie man kan van die goed seker gou siek gemaak word dat hy net kan opgebring. Want you, as you are visiting that grandpa and coke, you are busy depriving someone the joyfulness that she is supposed to receive from you. There will be dysfunction. Guys, what is causing this dysfunction is that there are often a lot of sexual problems that we are going through, but then it is things that are coming in major illnesses like cancer, it is diabetes, it is heart, the blood circulation that is not really there, that can actually contribute to sexual dysfunction. Ek wil toch graag in Afrikaans sê, as ek praat van aan mekaar van sexual dysfunction, ek wil sommer regtig praat van, jy gaan nie styf word nie en die mens kan nie van jou iets kry nie. Is dit regverdig? Dit is nie regverdig nie. So jy ontneem iemand iets wat sy veronderstel is om te kry van jou wanneer jy gereed is vir dit. But then there are two common major problems that we as men are going through. The premature ejaculation and the erectile dysfunction. Nou, al goed veroorsaak die twee probleme. Die voor jy nog moet regtig seks doen, het jy al klaar gekom. Dit is net gesê, hallo, toe jy klaar gesê, yes, I'm fine, goodbye. And the person is just trying to smile now, but now you are already at goodbye. End of transmission, diabetes, shut down, total shutdown of the television. Right? The other one is erectile dysfunction. And erectile dysfunction, van die goed wat ek nie ook hier genoem het, die wat ook probeer is, ouwens, dit het te doen met hoe ons vandag lewe. Een van die dinge is onze klere draag ook. It contributes to sexual dysfunction. Is dit waar? Sal jy saam sê? Ja. Dit is die dinge. Die skinnies wat ons aantrek. Ek wil nie van dit wat jy nou gedoen het nie, maar dit is waar, ons dit ons manne wat jy so is. Sometimes when someone is saying something, you like to do, okay, it's that one. Why are you saying it to me? But besides that, hoe stevig jou broek is, dan word die testikels en die bloedvloei van jou, as ons gauw, kom ons, Daniel, gauw daar met die picture, die nog steeds terug. Ja, now, the urethral opening, you see that male reproductive system. Nou, hoe meer die goed onder druk gehou word, hoe minder gaan werk hulle later. Want hulle het nie asemhaling kans nie, hulle is so vas en op grond daarvan die bloedvloeiing van die liggaam af daarna toe en dit is nie meer daar nie. So een van die dinge wat dit veroorsaak is, jy gaan nie styf word nie. En as jy styf word, is dit die lauwwarm, amper, En dan as dit nodig gesê word, dan is dit klaar tot ziens. So dit is ons sal moet kyk na hoe trek ons aan. Sommige manne sal jy sien, hy trek 'n hotpen aan, dan trek hy nog weer wat sien julle die broekie, die bokser, die trankie aan en dan trek hy weer eers nou die skinny of die stable broek weer. What are you doing? What are you busy with? That needs to change. That needs to change, guys. Let's go. Now, in motivation, guys, we are concluding, I think too much. In motivation, the church and BTY is obviously trying to be innovative to fill the gap that is there in terms of mental and sexual health education that we are dealing with now. Now, in 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, here is something that we are saying about the mental health. For God did not give us a spirit of fear, but the power and the love and a sound mind. That's what God gave us. The church is further trying by saying that in Isaiah 41 verse 10, fear not, for I am with you, says the Lord. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Yes, says the Lord. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. God says that He will uphold you with His right hand, not with His left hand. Why is He saying that? Because He probably knows that His right hand could be more stronger than the left hand, so that He does not let go of you. Whatever you are going through, you need to know that God is never going to let you drown in that problem that you are going through now. He's going to uphold you. The next motivation says, young men, Philippians 4 verses 6 to 7. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, en alles wat ons doen, moet ons met dankbaarheid kan bid. Let your request be known to God, and peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, sal julle verstande en julle harte bewaar in Christus Jesus se woord. Now, when it comes to sexuality, in Genesis 1, verses 28, in Mark 10, verse 7 and 8, and also in 1 Corinthians 7, verses 1 to 5, you will hear these things, that God created sex for two purposes. First one is for the procreation, and then the second one is for unity. Isaiah 1 verses 16 says the following about sexuality, about sexual, that we need to wash ourselves, we need to make ourselves clean, put away all the evil of doing things that we were doing before. We were watching porn easily. Am I talking to someone that was watching porn? Yes. Am I talking to someone that was masturbating? We need to do away from that. We need to become clean. Cease to do evil. Learn to do good. But when you are doing that, seek justice. Rebuke the oppressor. And obviously defend the fatherless. The fatherless that we are referring to here is that we want to defend you as young men, not to be put in or trapped into issues of sexual health, not to be trapped into issues of mental health, so that you are taking your life, or else by so doing are being violated. We don't want that. Young men, let me tell you something. as much as sex is good and nice and enjoyable, sex is designed for marriage. Someone would say, but how can I get married without test driving? What if when after getting married and I want now to drive, the gasket has now passed? Of the gasket can blast of me. Can you imagine sex for you again? Sex is part of God's good creation. Dit is die instelling van die Here met goeie gedagte. We are given the gift of being able to experience pleasure and delight within it when we are married. By so doing, young men, thank you so much for listening to me. If you have questions, we can deliberate on that. But then, moving forward, like I said in the beginning, I'm from Value Investment. This is a company that is responsible for training, development, coaching, and mentorship needs. If there is any needs that you have, contact us on those details that are up there. And having said that, I thank you. Do we have any questions? We are good to go? Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, dankie julle nog tot nou die besit ons is nou weer ons laaste spreker en dan sal ons afsluit en ja, van die wat nog wat vrae het van die sprekers wat nog hier is of so dan sal ons dan net bietjie daaroor gesels en dan sê jy maar ja, hier is nou net die tyd het goed. Angelo, jy dan maar kom maar.
Last but not least.
Last but not least.
Baie dankie Daniel. Kom ons staan so 'n bietjie aan my lekker saam. Ek weet die information wat ek gegaan het is baie. Alles van vanoggend af tot nou toe was beskikbaar baie om in te vat. Kom ons trek so 'n bietjie. Stap so 2 treetjies en dan kry jy jouself net gou ready vir die volgende 3 ure. I'm joking. Ja, as jy gemakkelijk is en jy voel jy kan nog gaan vir nog so laaste sessie, dan kan jy maar jou paar high five gee en dan sit ons maar. Dan kiek ons op. Amen. Yes, soos allemaal nou al kent in hierdie tyd, my naam is Angelo, aangename jongman van die Here. Ek is lief vir sulke geleenthede. Ek is lief om so verskil en wissel van die Here te kan wees. Nou, ek het opdrag gekry van Daniel en BTY team om te praat, testimony te share en om te praat oor studies en career choices. Ek beloof, ek gaan nie lang wees nie. Ja, ons het as baie wat ons moet inneem. I'm not going to be very long. Yeah, so just for this last session, I would like you guys to listen, pay attention, and also just to be aware of the presence of the Lord in our midst this afternoon. So, my journey, starting from grade 1 up until matric, die dat het vroeger gementioned dat hy het graad 12 gefail, 1 keer in sy lewe. Ek het in my lewe byvoorbeeld, now this afternoon I'm going to be very humble, I'm going to be very hot. It stands for humble, open and transparent. And then I want you to keep in mind that I'm not ashamed to speak about it, or to talk about it. So in my life, starting from grade 1, I failed up until grade 12, I failed 3 times. 3 keer op school gekry. Baie min. I started grade 1 at the farm school at Tokokopman Primary School. Ek onthou net sê ek onthou net ek het graad 1 gekry op high school. I started my journey at Oregon Primary School, grade 2, deurgegaan, prachtige rapport gekry. Onthou, graad 2 was zeker mijn mooiste rapport, wat ik van mijn ouders huis toegevallen heb. Ik onthou een keer en ik maak kleren op die draad gaan en ons het die rapport gaan halen. En ik is excited en opgewonden om voor haar die rapport te gaan wijzen. Oor hoe dat ek gedoen het. Graad 2 geslaagd, deurgegaan, graad 3, 4, deurgegaan, kom in graad 5 toe besluit die Here weer die so Angelo ek bereik, ek moet nog eers weer in graad 5 sit. En ek graad 5 oorgemaak, nee? Ek was 'n tweede kans gegee in graad 5 om het oor te maak. En dan kom ek in graad 8 hoërskool. Die setup is nie, is nieuwe vakke, is nieuwe mense, is 'n nuwe heeltemal 'n ander atmosfeer. Nou my ding is ek leer baie stadig op daai stadium. Ek het baie stadig bygeval, baie stadig bygekom en baie stadig begin verstaan. So ek het graad 8 het ek moes ek oorgemaak het. Die dokter Lemmer besluit toe, hulle gee vir my nog 'n kans om vir graad 8 oor te maak. Maar ek eer die Here. Not a lot of people know that about me, but this is my journey. Ek het begin in die journey met die Here van hoërskooljare af. Ek begin te stap met die Here saam van hoërskooljare af. En so op daai stadium van my lewe wat ek besluit het tot hier toe en nie meer verder. En so op daai stadium in my lewe wat ek besluit het, I'm going to start dreaming big. Ek gaan begin om groot begin droom en om bo my standaard, bo my mindset uit te styg so in Christus kan bereik. So I started to journey with the Lord. Never knew I would stand and be where I am today until I met Jesus. No, ek bedoel soos dit reg, everything changed toe God op die scene kom. Toe God sê, en toe ek God deel maak van my journey, God deel maak van my lewe, that's where everything actually started to make sense for me. Ek het begin verstaan what was the reasons that caused me to fail the previous grades. What was the reason why my mind was not in right standing and in the right place with the Father? So when he came on to see, everything changes. He started to bring all of the parts back together and ek kon beter verstaan. Die seisoene waar ek was en die seisoene waar ek currently in sit. We should keep in mind the following. Whatever your profession or whatever your job is, you are not doing it for your boss, you are not doing it for your clients, but to God. In other words, you are not the servant of people, but the servant of God. The scripture says in Galatians chapter 3, verse 23, it says that now in whatever it is that you are doing, do it as if you are doing it for the Lord. So whatever your dream is, whatever job it is that you want to pursue one day, keep this one thing in mind. You are not a servant of people, but you are a servant of Christ. Even the people that made it possible for you to be in a certain job or to make matriek or to do whatever you are doing, dit gaan heeltemal hierso oor God. Now, if He's your anchor and if He is your number one, according to Philippians 4 verse 19, it says that, and my God shall supply every need of yours according to His riches in glory in Christ Jesus. And I remember one time in my life, dan ek Vader, wanneer ek nou klaar maak met skool, dan wil ek net nog werk. Ek stel dit as anders belang nie, want ek soek geld. Ek wil werk. Ek weet hoe dit voel om klop geld te hê. Ek weet hoe dit voel om enigiets te koop wat ek wil hê. Ek weet nie, omdat ek kom uit 'n heavy, moeilike background, omdat ek kom uit 'n huis met ouers wat nie altyd veel gehad het om vir hulle kinders te gee nie, het ek begin te droom en ek het desperate begin raak om meer te wil hê. Desperate begin raak om groter op 'n van die dag om te droom. En ek het gesê, ek sê klaar met skool, ek sê nie klaar nie, ek wil net werk wat geld. En dat was my mindset, dat was my perspective op die stadium. En ek kon in matriek prys die Here vir mense wat matriek halen. Ek gee nie om hoe jy omgeslaag het en hoe jy omgedryf het nie. As long as you've made it to matriek, you can give yourself a round of applause. You can jy kan lekker voel. Jy kan lekker voel omdat jy in matriek was. Jy kan sê, Jenne, ek het matriek gehad. Ek het matriek gemaak. And for me, my journey was not about what you're going through in the current season, what you're facing in the current season, what you're going through in the process. But I think what stood out for me in that season is that as it doesn't matter how you started, as long as you are finishing strong. So you want to do something. You want to have the perfect job, you want to have the dream job, and you want to pursue your studies and your careers in whatever you do. Now, if God is, when you are deciding to do something, God is your anchor and is your priority. It's important that you should stand on grounds that is firm. It's important for you as a young man to stand on a foundation that is laid according to the standards and the principles of Christ. If you are not standing on the foundation that God has set for you, that God has laid for you, you that also said, Brandon said earlier, then you will fall for anything that comes your way. But if God is the one that you are anchored in as a young man of God, come high yell or high waters, you will remain standing and believing in the one who has created the platform and the opportunity for you to dream again. So I don't care how big your dream is, I don't care how big your vision is. What God longs for you and from you is to stand firm in the foundation that He has laid for you as a man. Now, any building that doesn't have a good foundation will fall. Enige huis wat gebou word en die fondasie word nie goed gelê nie en die fondasie word nie reg gelê nie, dan is daai huis baie maklik om uitmekaar te krap en uitmekaar te val. Moenie haastig wees om die building te sien nie, but be excited and serve in the humble seasons where God is laying the foundation in your life. So, die foundation wat ander mense nog nie reg sien nie. Jy sien net 'n stuk segment wat jy lê, jy kan nog nie reg sê wat is dit wat jy besig is of wat God besig is om in jou lewe in te bou nie. But as long as you serve in the season of foundation, God is going to give you the bigger vision, the dream job, the dream career, the dream businessman that you want to become one day. But first of all, make sure that the foundation that you are standing on is solid as a young man. Now there are three types of jobs. There's a learning job. Some jobs are more about learning than earning. No? You are learning more than you are earning. Sommige van ons is op daai level. No? And then you have the second job, it's the earning jobs. Now many people in college who pick their first job solely based in the size of the salary offers. As jy werk wil goed kan betaal, ek stel nie belang. Ons sê ons altyd ons het 'n mindset van ek werk nie vir R3,000 nie, dis net ekstra. My toeris maar kos dit R500, ek werk nie vir R3,000 nie. It's just not enough. Now, if you are not tired of die fondasie inkom, now if you know that even that $3,000, even at R3,000, wat jy in die maand gaan verdien, is jy weet, alles wat jy nodig het, kom net van dit af. If you know that the foundation you are standing on is solid enough and it will make you strong enough to be satisfied with the little in your life, how can God deposit a brick into your life? So be satisfied in the learning season, so that when you become a pro, one day, God will lift you even up more. The third job is a dream job. A dream job is when you find the perfect industry, company, and people to work for. Nah? We all want to get to the dream job. Ons almal wil ons droomwerk hê. Baie van ons werk maar net, nie regtig omdat ons 'n droomwerk is nie, maar omdat ons skapantie kan kry, omdat ons elke maand 'n salaris kan verdien. Even if you are in the season of not working in your dream job, never stop dreaming to work towards your dream job one day. Somehow, sometime, it's gonna work out for you. You just be humble and serve in the season that you currently find yourself in. Now, a scripture that I stand for and a scripture that I believe in comes out of the book of Psalm 37, verse 23 up until 24. It reads as follows. It says that the Lord directs the steps of the godly. Another translation says that the Lord directs the steps of the righteous. He delights in every detail of their lives. So God is present even in your current season, even in every detail, every vision, and every thought that you are sitting with. God is aware of the details. Though they stumble, they will never fall. That's why we should stand on a foundation that is solid, so that when we stumble, we will not fall. For the Lord holds them by the hand. As ons hierdie in die fisiese kant picture, dan sien ons dat as jy iemand se hand hou vas, dan het jy meer grip om nie te val en op die grond het. Is die slaap soos wat die skriptie hier vir ons spraak, is dat God homself. Hy praat eens van vriende, hy praat eens van familie nie, hy praat eens van mense nie, but he says the Lord himself will hold your hand. So if you are willing to stand on the foundation, and in the place where you are currently in as a young man that still has that dream, that still has that vision, if God is your anchor, I promise you, your dream job will become a reality. And your dream job will not only be a dream that came true, but it will be a testimony to the ones that is hopeless in certain and in different sorts of circumstances. Find out what makes you happy, what moves you, and what matches your personality, and make your decision according to that. If you like it, if you have dream of it, as jy weet dit match met jou personalities, jy weet ek geniet het vreeslik om met mense te werk, then make your decision if you want to go into a career according to that personality. People find it hard to make decisions and moving into their careers because they don't know themselves well enough. If this is your season to get to know and discover yourself as a man, serve humbly in it. If this is your season and your time to only find out what you like, to only find out what you are good at, if this is your season where you just have to get to know yourself a little bit more, rather than just putting yourself out there without sonder dat jy deur die trauma en die teleurstellings en seer van jou lewe gewerk het. If you have to change, if you want to change the world, you have to look at yourself and then make that change and be that change as a young man. So get to know yourself, discover yourself, and work from there on. I never knew that I could stand on a stage and speak to people totdat die platform nie vir my geskep was en ek het net die platform was nie vir my, ek was nie op gaan gelaai dan, ne? I had to decide, ek moes besluit dat die platform is geskep. Het is my verantwoordelikheid om op te klim en deel te hê aan hierdie platform sodat ek kan beter word in dit wat ek doen. Ek is absoluut lief vir dit wat die Here ook gedoen het. Ek is absoluut lief vir dit vir die transformation wat die Here personally in my lewe ook gedoen het. As 'n jong man, ek was baie stil op skool, ek het nie gepraat nie, ek kan sê ek het vrede gehad op skool nie. I was always that one guy sitting there at the corner minding his own business, no? Because I had a dream inside of me and I had a vision inside of me wat ek kon die wêreld toegelaat het om te gryp of om te steel van my af. Ek het die opportunity gesien en ek moes dit gryp met al twee hande. Today, I'm doing public speaking, I'm speaking in front of people, ek praat baie, ek moet vir my keer, ek moet nog 'n keer wees om stil te bly, want die Here het 'n transformation in my lewe ook gedoen. When thinking of studies and careers, keep in mind your future. Make sure it's not just self-centered, but for the benefit of your family one day. The revelation and understanding and conclusion that I'm getting out and that I want to share with you guys this afternoon is that getting it right as a young man will prevent you from suffering in the future.
Yes.
If you do not get it right now, your future will not look good for you. Your future do not start when you are married. Your future do not start when you are having children. But your future starts now. And the decisions and the choices that you make as a young man will have an utmost significant role towards your future. Suffering prevent you from suffering in the future. Get your perspective and wisdom now, and you will know what to do when you're growing up. This is your time. Platforms as this and opportunities as this is to your benefit. To equip yourself as a young man so that you do not suffer when you are growing up and when you reach the stage where you are getting married or when you reach the stage waar jy kinders gaan kry en 'n familie bou. Do not wait for them. Start working to yourself and for yourself right now. Amen. Baie dankie. Kan ons sê
Okay, with that, we've come to the end of our conference today. And just before I conclude, I would like to say a big thank you and shout out to PIB Graphics and also Loandro for helping with the media and the streaming. PIB Graphics is also a friend I met at NAST, Chandra Victorious, and she helped us with the build-up to this event. So thank you for them for that. And then also to our speakers today, we'd like to thank them. And yeah, the church, Dominic, for opening his doors to host the event here. To God, firstly, thank you to him for making this possible, for letting us wake up this morning. And then thanks to you that made the time, brought it out to come and listen to what various speakers had to say. And I hope we can just grow from here. So if you check those notes, it says setting financial goals, that's important. Setting goals for self-education, for self-development, spiritual goals, relationship goals, physical goals. So from what we've learned today, start to set your goals and work to that so that you can become better than yesterday. Thank you.